This is the Salty and Wired podcast. This is a conversation between two salty and wired guys who worked in construction and found a connection through technology. We're dedicated to sharing the ancient tools that modern people need. Each episode, we will dive into a tool that can help you live a better life. So get ready, buckle up, get ready to get a little uncomfortable. It's time for you to create your blueprint for change right now. All right. Well, greetings out there. Thanks for hitting that play button on the show again. This is Rob McKinney, and I'm joined by my spiritual brother, Ian Gray. How you doing, sir?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, Rob?
You know, I can't complain for the day. I'm still breathing. I'm still here. I get to talk to you today. We're on this adventure, this experiment to take private conversations public, shall we say, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
You know, you and I talk about a lot of stuff and tools, and today in particular is breath work. You hear a lot about it. I've been speaking about it openly for a couple of years. You and I have talked multiple times about it offline. But let's peel back the onion layer today. Our tactical tool, we're going to go after breath work, and specifically for you breathwork nerds, if you're following along, or maybe if you've never ever heard of this, we're going to talk about the 4-7-8 breath pattern. And what does that mean? It's you take in air for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7, and then you let it out for 8. And we'll come back to the let it out for 8 because I've been dialing some guys in on that letting it out part. But Ian, what's your experience been with this mythical breath cadence, the 4-7-8?
Mythical breath cadence. I love it. I love it. Well, Rob, let's take a couple steps back real quick, because chances are the people that are going to be listening to this are in construction. Maybe we'll get some tech folks joining in on this podcast and listening in. But why are you thinking that people should even care about taking a breath? I mean, we do it thousands of times every single day without even thinking about it. Why are we even talking about this today?
Well, my gurus that I've studied under, one of the first things that was pointed out was, yes, biologically we breathe to stay alive all day. It's a mechanical part of our body. You know, you literally can't stop it consciously without this gasp reflex. Now, someone else can stop it for you, and that sucks. But yeah, we have to breathe our body. But that's not intentional breath. And that's what I didn't really understand on the beginning of my journey. And looking back, I was doing such shallow, rapid breath work, like a little rabbit, right? Like I just sat around. I never took deep, long breaths, which, I mean, from a biological standpoint, it wasn't good. But those gurus that kind of opened my mind up and showed me of, okay, the maker kind of had something in mind, right? Like there's a reason to take long, slow breaths. Or there's a reason to take short, rapid breaths. Like there's so many variables in your body. It's almost like the breath work, and maybe it's the wrong analogy. It's like breath work's your transmission. You want to speed up or slow down. It's how the gears connect everything from your brain to your heart to your lungs to your gut, if that makes sense.
I love that. I love that.
Right?
You know, the angle I was going to talk about today, Rob, I mean, I'm for those listening, we did not plan the automotive analogy here, but I was going to talk about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, right? Where, you know, the sympathetic, the flight or fight or freeze is kind of like the gas pedal, and the parasympathetic is kind of like the brakes. And now you're throwing in another component. You're talking about the breath work being in transmission. I love it. I like it.
Well, maybe we're even going old school for some people, right? We're not talking about an automatic. We're talking about a full manual, like my old VW76. It was a 5-speed with reverse. Where you can live on autopilot, and I did that for 49 years. Or you can choose to take control of your switch panel, right? Like you can go manual, but you got to really understand how to do it. If you want good results, shall we say. You know, you could completely have havoc with your own system if you want. Don't recommend that. It kind of sucks. Been there, done that. But what we're talking about is how do you understand one gear? Yeah. One gear. And that's what,
Rob, I mean,
to me, the 478 does.
Here's the ADHD in me coming out. You talk about your old VW. I had a 1974 VW Thing. You remember the Thing, the little boxy car?
Oh, yeah.
And to get it into reverse, you had to push that stick down. And it was like diagonally opposite of what Americans are used to. But I'll tell you what, once you get that thing humming, nothing runs better. And I guess that's a good, analogy for what we're going to be talking about today too, right? Is once you dial in your breath work, man, it's a world of a difference. And I mean, you and I both know, we talk to so many people in this industry. I'm going to talk about real quick what most people in construction are dealing with, what their life is like. So think about it. 5 a.m., you're waking up, or maybe you're on the job site. All right, so you're already sleep deprived, right? Coffee, and you know this one, coffee or energy drink number one, you're getting that cortisol spike, right? You're already getting in fight or flight before shit even hits the fan. You got a high stress commute. You're sympathetic. Your gas pedal is already floored. You're already activated. Then you step on site, and depending on your role, maybe there's physical danger that you're dealing with. So there's even more sympathetic activation, right? And then you've got the deadline pressure, right? Schedule compression. People are out. Shit just hit the fan, right? And now you've got more sympathetic activation. And then maybe there's a guy or a girl that you don't really get along with, interpersonal conflict. There's more activation. And then you're like, shit, I need another coffee. I need another energy drink. More artificial stimulation. Now, some people still smoke, which is surprising, but that's for another day. Throw in that temporary dopamine fix with a cigarette. Maybe even getting long-term damage from that, right? Physical exhaustion. So you get home, you're still wired, but you're tired. You can't sleep, so you take a couple of fingers of your favorite drink just to come down, and then you're not getting any sleep, and then you rinse and repeat. So you're saying basically that breath work might be, I don't want to call it a hack, but I can't think of a better word. You're saying that breath work might be a good hack to kind of break this cycle, huh?
There's a lot in there to unpack, man. When you talk about, when we get nerdy and talk about this activation, we're talking about your central nervous system. And yeah, from the time most humans get up, and let's just say in construction, as I talk to people about their patterns, it's pretty similar to what you're talking about. They get up, hit the floor running, already looking at their phone, replying to texts, looking at messages, probably on the phone as they're driving in stressful traffic. Yeah, they redline at 6 a.m. and stay, in the red zone 12, 14 hours-ish. I know back in the day, I was guilty of that, of what time I would get up as I was driving to wherever. I'm either talking to that superintendent. Now, this is when I was a safety director, right? Like I was always talking to somebody in the car. So you're activated driving the car. You're activated being on the phone, and not normally with good conversations. Then you come home, and if we've been fueling ourselves, and this is one of those kind of Americanisms, the American not really understanding. I used to think, oh, you drink coffee because that's caffeine, because caffeine gave you energy. Let's go ahead and let's throw a caution flag up there. Caffeine does not give you energy. It's actually the reverse. Caffeine numbs your body's hormones to feeling tired, which some people go, oh, well, that's energy. I'm like, no. And the more of that you drink, the more that you hit. Yeah, I used to drink so much coffee. It's one of the reasons I probably can't drink it now, right? Like I drink a lot of coffee, high octane coffee. And then to your point, when the energy drinks came out, 150 milligrams in a shot, bring it. Or I see some now like 300 milligrams caffeine in a can, one can. Yeah, they're throttling their systems all day long. And to your point, they don't have real good focus about making decisions in critical situations because their mind is just reeling. Or what hit me the hardest, you lay down at night, you finally go to bed and you're sitting there and your brain is like a hamster wheel going 100 miles an hour because you're still thinking about email you didn't reply to, the text message that you got to send back. What's the first thing I got to do in the morning? Most people have such a hard time winding down that engine. Because if you've been redlining, throttled out all day long, you're in fifth gear. That's hard. It's hard on the body.
Yeah. And you know what? You can see this, right? It's not just theoretical. Like some of my clients, when we'll look at cortisol levels throughout the day, and you'll see the spike, and you'll see what we call wired and tired. It's not good. But now listen, that reaction that you just described, it's perfectly natural. But here's the thing: it's designed for acute threats, right? We talked last time about our cave people ancestors, but in reality, when you're presented with an acute threat that's putting your life in danger, that's needed. You need to shut down digestion, immune function, rational thinking just to survive. But the thing is it's not built for chronic activation, right? And that's it, right? Construction is chronic activation of this system. So yeah, I'm all for this conversation. I am a brother in breath with you. The 478. It's just one of those. I think that, people listening today, when they walk away with a 478 and just use that shit and try it out, it's free. What's more free than your breath? Just make sure you're not near any silica, right? You want some semi-fresh air.
Yes, we want clean, fresh air. But if you have to, put on a filter, put on a respirator, make sure you get your fit test, do all the stuff, right? Because that's a thing to even think about later for a future episode is safe breathing in stressful work. Well, jackhammering concrete. There's a lot of things in construction where you're not in the safest environment, and we want you to use your breath to stay calm, to not be activated. But we got to take baby steps. So let's peel it back again. The 478, again, you're going to take an inhale through your nose. That's 4 seconds. You're going to hold it. That's the hold. That's the 7 seconds. And then here's one of the tips I'll give people already. That release, it's not what I've really worked on the last year is knowing, for me, it's a big inhale. So that 4, it's a big whoosh of air. You're holding it, but then that release is more and I'm talking people that can't see lips, right? Like pursed lips, like you're letting the air slowly out of a balloon. Not a rush. Because what you're talking about, if you're in an activated state, we're trying to slow down the brain, that slow down the heart, that slows down the lungs. And you just came off a big hold. But man, you tell me, how does it hit for you when you're trying this thing out?
I mean, it's game changing. And I've told a lot of people about this. And I mean, chemically, what's happening, right? Your CO2 levels are rising, which is known to trigger sort of like a calm response, right? The shift between oxygen and CO2, it reduces a lot of anxiety that people might be harboring. You got vasodilation, blood pressure, all that's dropping, right? The neurological thing, the prefrontal cortex, right, where people are, the part in the brain or the head that people are making rational focused decisions, that gets reactivated and re-engaged. And then like you mentioned, the hormonal level, your cortisol is decreasing. And it gives you this calm in the chaos, right? And we talked last time about the VUCA environment. And who wouldn't rather lead a team or lead themselves or perform in a chaotic environment, but with a level of calm? And if that's you, if someone out there is looking to increase performance in that sort of environment, the least expensive and easiest tool to deploy is exactly what you're talking about.
Well, we can kind of throw a few things out there as we start to wrap this up. And people, if you're listening to this in your construction or maybe tech or the AEC space, you're like, I'm not doing breath work. That sounds too foo-foo. And maybe I'm targeting this at the guys. I'm not going to do it. That's a soft thing. Well, who does this? Who does these kind of breath techniques? Well, first, the military, they train in a lot of these breath tactics for a reason, because that's where the VUCA environment term came from. Professional fighters, professional athletes, people that do these amazing things with their bodies, they do it because they know how to control their bodies. And us amazing construction professionals that build and service the world, we have not been taught these skills of how to control our bodies. So kind of the takeaway challenge we have for you is really, it's what I said in the first episode. Take an honest look at yourself. How focused are you on your work, your family? How well are you performing? How well are you sleeping? And just try it this week, right? We're asking you to take, 19 seconds to intentionally breathe your body. You're going to do it before an important meeting, before you're going to start creating an estimate, before you do a crazy crane pick. Sit in your driveway before you walk in the door to the family, before you have a hard talk with somebody. Or my go-to, I use it for sleep. And this is where I really dialed it in the past 6 months. My sleep protocol, we could go over in a completely different episode, right? Like I've learned so many things, but the last part of it is when Rob's finally in bed, when my head's on the pillow. I'm working this cadence, and I started and I told myself, all right, if I can do 10 rounds of this, I'll go to sleep. And if I get to 10, I'll start over. And I used to have to start over. And I can't tell you right now the last time I had to start over. And honestly, every night, maybe it's 4 rounds, 5 rounds. But this is this concept that we've learned about neuroplasticity. I've literally been rewiring my brain for months. So every night, when the caveman goes to sleep, when the caveman's in the cave, when I'm in the bed, lights are out, and I'm closing my eyes, and I'm just sitting there doing this breath cadence, and it's, I do another one, 2, and I try it. I count up, I count backwards. I haven't really seen a difference, but what I'm telling you, if you're listening, I haven't made it to 10 in a long time. To go to sleep, like solidly go to sleep, and not out of exhaustion, not because I numb myself. The natural way to go to sleep, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And I mean, listen, Rob, for those out there that might know me, and you and I have talked about it, this week has been pretty shitty for me. And I'll tell you what, the first thing that I grabbed was what you're about to walk us through. World of a difference. And it's invisible.
Absolutely. A big can you've always got on your side, ready to go. Chilled, warmed up, whatever you want. So we'll wrap up this talk now, and I'll just guide you through one if you're listening, if you've never done it. So if you want, you can close your eyes, leave them open. You can sit up, lay down, kick back. But 4, 7, 8, how do you do it? You're going to first take
Rob,
in that.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Quick question for you, because someone asked me this the other day. Does it matter if you are exhaling through your nose or through your mouth?
For this one, the study and the practice that's always been taught to me is it's an inhale through the nose and it is an exhale through the mouth for this cadence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hey, results may vary. If you do it the opposite and it works, go for it. That'll be a nerd question. We'll have to go get into some different websites. I was taught inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth for this cadence.
Yeah, I was too. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we should get, I don't know if she'll do it. Maybe we should get Kendra on this show.
We could reach out.
Yeah.
We could reach out. All right. So give you this to go home with. You're going to try it now. This is the 4, 7, 8, to either calm down or go to sleep. So again, close your eyes, leave them open, kick back, sit back, whatever you need to do. You're going to take in, and I'm saying through your nose, you're going to inhale at 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And ideally, it's kind of pursed lips. When you're doing that exhale, you're really wanting to slowly release that. There's a resistance there. So we hope that helps. We're going to reach out to some other people. We have a lot of different people that have taught us over the years. We'll see who wants to maybe show up on the show. So Ian, that's all the time we got today, man. We're going to wrap this thing up.
I love it, man. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, dude. Thanks for joining me today. And that's all the time we have. So, hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Thank you for listening to the Salty and Wired podcast. We hope that you got a nugget of wisdom from this conversation. Now it's time for you to go out and try that tool. Build up your blueprint for change.